Welcome to a brief tutorial about quoting and examining critical illness products on LifeGuide. This tutorial is made today, 2015, April 19th. The figures that are being quoted, or that will be looked at in a moment, are for example purposes only. So are the product descriptions and so forth, and they are valid as of today. However, there are product changes frequently happening, and therefore the figures or the descriptions, etc., may not be valid at some later date. LifeGuide was the first to include critical illness products in the software due to their importance. These were included in LifeGuide since way back when they were first introduced in Canada. We strongly believe in the value of these products, as the financial impact of critical illness is no less than the financial impact of death. As a matter of fact, it could be argued that the financial impact of a critical illness can and sometimes is more severe than the financial impact of death. So without any further delay, let's go into it. Let's add another client here just so that we can illustrate that. There, a fictional client by the name of, let's say, Joan Smith. So we'll put in Joan Smith, and let's say that her date of birth was October 16, 1981. Click on OK. Our backdating prompt that is discussed in an earlier tutorial is brought up. So let's conserve her age by backdating the policy by 4 days to April 15th, 2015. So we'll do that, and her age nearest and her age last are both now 33, and potentially we're going to save her a fair bit of money. We'll change her to female here, and we'll take non-smoker and regular, and let's go for living benefits. That's where the critical illness products are, under living benefits. So we'll click here, living benefits, and we'll go for critical illness term 20, and we'll proceed. And let's say we'd like to have $250,000 worth of coverage. So we'll click on the quote button for single life, single insured. The next prompt that comes up is, do you wish to use the sufficiency filter? Now, the critical illness products are substantially different from life insurance products in the sense that there are different events of critical illness, some of which may be covered by the policy and some of which may not be covered by the policy, whereas in life insurance it's a very simple question: is the person alive or dead? So here, since we have to look at the critical illness conditions and events, and since the policies differ quite substantially between the events that they cover, it would be ridiculous to, say, compare a product that covers only 1 or 2 or 3 critical illnesses or critical illness events against one that covers 20 plus events, including the ones that the other policy covers, and to compare them by price alone. It's like comparing houses by the down payment. Ridiculous. So, and aside from being ridiculous, it can also lead to complications later on with expectations that cannot be fulfilled. So the best thing to do is to go through the sufficiency filter, and therefore we will say yes here. Now here you can consult with your client to see which illnesses, events, conditions that are critical that the person would want to cover. So let's take the standard 3, heart attack, cancer, stroke, and then I'm just going to randomly pick some others. let's say aortic surgery, heart surgery, and okay, well, let's leave it that way. Look at the note here. It says, please note the filter is intended for guidance purposes only. The wordings of each respective policy contract will govern. That's very important because although there was some move to standardize definitions, one should not expect them to be totally standardized. So best is to look at the sample policy contract and examine it as well before presenting it to the client. So having picked the illnesses that and conditions, etc., that must be covered by each of the policies quoted, okay, we've picked several. Okay, that's why we call it sufficiency filter, that if these are covered, it would suffice. Now some will cover additionals, but at least these that we've marked off will be covered. And we'll click on OK. Next prompt that comes up is the prompt relating to return of premium. So there are three forms of return of premium. And by clicking on them and placing a check mark, you indicate that you want that included. So let's say we want return of premium and death, but we will skip the other two. So we clicked on it, placed the check mark. If we decide to change our mind, just click on it again, take the check mark off, but let's put it on. So we want all policies quoted to include return of premium on death. We'll click on OK. By the way, please read the note here at the bottom, which explains each of these pieces of terminology. Let's click on OK. And we have our quote. Let's take a look just randomly at one company here. Here's Transamerica. The product is Critical Illness T20. And let's take a look at the plan description first of all. Not necessarily all the contract details, just an overview summary of the product. We'll close this, and now we'll go and take a look at the sample policy wording. And here it is for this particular product. So let's close that. And if we want to take a look, say, at VMO, repeat the same thing. And here is the sample policy contract for BMO. In the event that a sample policy contract is not available, my personal suggestion would be to go to the next one, to go to the next company, because the policy contract wordings are very important, be it for life insurance or for critical illness or for any other form of insurance. It's a legal contract. Therefore, you as the advisor, as well as the client as the consumer, have a right to disclosure of the material information that is the legal agreement, which is the policy contract and its wordings. Okay, similarly to life insurance, you can change the premium modes as you wish. Okay, I don't, generally speaking, recommend monthly because it's normally quite a high cost of financing. It's covered in another tutorial. We'll go back to annual. And that basically concludes this quick tutorial. And we will revisit critical illness again, as it is a very important subject and deserves a further look. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Thanks again.